Hello, everyone, and welcome to She's Successful's another episode of Conversations. I'm so happy to be back today. I'm your host, Nadia, and we have
Lavita.
Hey, Lavita, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. First and foremost, we want everybody to share this video. We need a lot of views in this room today because we have a special guest. We have a real estate professional and investor named Samary coming up today in a few minutes. So we really want you guys to tune in. So right now, I don't see anybody in this room. So we're going to wait for a few more viewers to come in before we get started. But last night we were on twice. We did an episode of Conversations, and then we did the International Love Connection, right? It typically falls on a Friday, but we did it last night, and I think it was a really cool show. I think we made another connection. What you think, Lavita?
I think we did too. The gentleman, he's very excited to see the young lady, and
Yeah,
she seems like she was very excited to see him too.
yeah, she was absolutely beautiful, and we had such an amazing co-host. We had Mark on with us last night, and we had a lot of people in the comments, complimenting Mark. So we hope we can have him back on again as another, co-host, because I think he was really, really cool.
Yes.
So we had lots of fun, lots and lots of fun. I'm trying to think. We're back on Friday. I think we're back on Saturday, and then we're waiting. We're going to have Monica back for another episode of What's the Word. I think that video did really well. We got a lot of new hot topics coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she really needs to, comment on and, give some commentary on and give her opinion on. So we got some real interesting things. We are also on YouTube. We want you guys to follow us on YouTube. We haven't done much with YouTube, but we're looking for subscribers over there. So now we're there. I think we may be on Twitch. So follow us there. I'm not sure if we got an Instagram or not. I'll get back to you on that one. Lavita, do we have an Instagram?
Well, I set it up, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, well, us ladies over here, we love stars. So we want you viewers to send us some stars so we can keep this content coming to you, and hit that subscribe button on the Facebook so that you could get some one-on-one content.
And I would just like to say one more thing very quickly. If you would like to be a contestant on the Love Connection, inbox us at She's Successful, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, make sure you inbox us, because it's like the hottest show, the hottest virtual dating show on the internet. I don't think there's another one like it. And if you haven't tuned in, make sure that you tune in on Friday night. We got 94 people in the room. We over 100. Okay, we got 124 people in the room. So we about to get started. Before we get started, though, I woke up a little late. You know what I got to do?
Let me guess. Take your goalie.
I got to take my goalie. So we're going to go into a goalie break.
Kickstart your day with Goalie. Use our code She's Successful and save 10% on your order. These gummies include vitamins B12 and B9 that support healthy immune function, heart health, and maintain healthy energy metabolism.
Apple cider vinegar, B9, B12. Make sure you pick up some Goalie. It's so good. It's just like the best flavor. I'm telling you, it's so good.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to help you with weight loss also.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not pushing that.
Yeah. I don't know about, New Year's is coming up. People always got these resolutions. They want to lose weight. Go out and get you some Goalie. It'll help, balance everything out. Ladies and gentlemen, can you give a round of applause? We're about to bring out Miss Samary, and she's going to talk real estate today. So can we bring up our guest, Miss Samary? Hi! Round of applause, guys. Welcome, Samary.
Hello.
Samary, we did prepare a little video for you. Brief intro before we have you talk to the audience. So we're going to play that right now.
Awesome.
Samary has over 10 years of experience in business development, real estate investing, wholesaling, buying and holding, and creative real estate. Her career background includes psychotherapy, school counseling, life coaching, and a nonprofit called Beauty Is You. Samary also has a master's in counseling and a bachelor's in psychology and business administration. Not only is she a true entrepreneur who loves to create multiple streams of income, she is also a dedicated wife and a mother of 4, 2 of them being twins. As a speaker, her vision is to help others create their own empires. She is rooted in her faith, and it continues to be the driver behind her mission and vision in life.
Well, welcome, Samary.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We tried to get a little bit of your bio, as much as we could, but we also want to hear from you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You covered a lot. So, Samary, guys, I am a psychotherapist turned real estate investor. Over the last 10 years, I was a psychotherapist, and I did a career change when we were unexpectedly expecting twins. So that was kind of like, whoop. What are we doing now? So anyways, that kind of took a career shift for me. I decided to get into real estate to help my husband grow his business. And I really then fell in love with it because I didn't have any interest before that. That wasn't like what I wanted to do. But now I am in love. I love what I do. I love sharing what I do. And I love helping other women create their own real estate empires.
So Samary, where are you from?
So I'm right now in Connecticut.
Okay. Now, when you do real estate, do you do it like in other states, or are you just primarily in Connecticut?
So primarily at the beginning, we were in Connecticut as far as like buying and holding multifamily units in Connecticut. But now we do real estate anywhere in the United States, basically. As long as the market is good, the numbers work, whatever it is, we use different strategies, and we like to focus on creative strategies when it comes to buying our real estate.
Your website spoke about the importance of women having multiple streams of income. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I just feel we live in a time right now that we just cannot rely on one source of income all the time. And you have to be able to, pivot. I mean, COVID and the whole pandemic showed us that we needed to do that, right? A lot of businesses did not make it because they had a difficult time transitioning to other creative ways to market. And I feel the same way, as you're creating your income, your career, whatever you're doing, it's always good to always have multiple streams of income, however that might be.
You also spoke about virtual wholesaling. I can't think I've seen that term before. So explain to the audience exactly what that is.
Yes, that's how I got originally started with real estate. So virtual wholesaling is a way to acquire properties in a way that you're helping other investors as well. So you end up being kind of the middleman. You put two people together, you negotiate and are able to get contracts under asking price, right? These are off market properties that you're basically looking for motivated sellers, right? So the people that may be interested in getting rid of the property, whether it's inherited or they're going through bankruptcy or pre-foreclosures, or they're older and they're just tired of, owning, their house is too big. They don't want to do the repairs, tired landlords. All of these kind of fall into that big bucket. And our job is as a wholesaler is to be like the middle person, right? So you find, these motivated sellers, and then you connect them with your end buyers who are your investors who are buying cash or using other people's money, right? That term that always, you don't have to always go through the bank to make a purchase, a real estate purchase.
So is this a license thing? Do you need a real estate license too? Because you said middleman, I guess.
Yep.
You're connecting the buyers and the sellers.
Yep. It's a
But
different concept. It's very creative. To be a wholesaler, you do not need to have a license. However, there are some states that are making the laws a little bit stricter. So right now, there's one state in Oklahoma that you do need to be an actual licensed realtor to be able to do wholesale transactions. And in Illinois, you can only do one wholesale transaction per year as an unlicensed person. If you wanted to do more than that, then you would need to get your license. Philadelphia also has a license, but it's more of like almost like a certificate that they you pay yearly for. And that's it. Everybody else, you just follow the laws. You just have to make sure that that you're working with people who are creative. So your closing team, right? Your title company, your attorneys, anyone who's working with you, can and know how to make the transaction work.
explain the term wholesale because I'm thinking bulk. Are we talking like bulk sales? Like, what do you mean by wholesale?
Yes, I mean, bulk is definitely comes to mind, but it's more of think of it discount, right? So when you buy things in a wholesale, usually you're looking for the discount as well, right? So you're purchasing less, you're paying less per item, right? So if you buy like, at BJ's or something like 20 things and then each item costs less than you would at a regular Stop and Shop or somewhere else, something like that. With properties, although you're not doing it mass amount, you're not getting like 20 properties in one package. You can be getting like one property, but the bigger point is that it has to be under value, right? So if the value of the property right now is, I don't know, $300,000, something like that, and you're able to um, get the seller, to a point that you can agree on the price, and it's there you agree at like 175 or 200 because maybe the property needs work, maybe they don't want to do the work anymore, maybe they just are tired of it. They just don't want to like deal with it, they inherited it and they never really wanted this, right? And it's just sitting there collecting dust. So it's really about helping them see, like, and there are not all properties can be wholesale because some properties should be sold in the retail market, right? And like people
Right.
should get like the big prices for them. Where there's a lot of properties, you ever drove down like streets where like there's a whole bunch of dilapidated buildings and like houses and just they need help, right? And like that brings on
Yeah.
the neighborhoods and stuff like that. So those are like big target ones for our companies.
Is there funding out there to help fix up those properties?
So, depending on the area that you're in, there may be grants that are opportunities available for people who are actually flipping, right? And they might be to help the neighborhood. I know in upstate New York, we worked that area for a while. There's something called the land bank, and they work closely with flippers and helping them obtain these properties and then being able to also fund some of the actual flipping that goes on. The only caveat with that is really to like they have some stipulations on who you can sell the property back to, like people who are certain income level, which I think overall it makes it a great opportunity for everyone to be able to be like homeowners and also live in a nicer house, right? Like not a crappy
Hmm.
one.
Hmm. Um, Also, the market. Is this a good time to be in to buy? Um, I think that was when did everything fall apart? Was that 2008? So
Yep.
what do you see with the market trends? Is now a good time to really invest?
You know what? I mean, I think investing is fine as long as you do it properly, right? Like if you're not overpaying for anything, if you are keeping, your budget needs to work, your numbers have to work for you. Don't overpay for a property. Like, and have multiple exit strategies, right? So you might go in with the intention of flipping that property, but what happens if in 6 months you're done with that flip and you list it and the property doesn't sell right away? So
Right.
what other multiple strategies can you utilize with that particular property? So it's almost you're creating a business plan for that. What you're doing. If your intention is to hold it and rent it out, right, and wait until it gets more equity, whatever that is, then that's fine. But you just have to buy right and also just do your numbers and make sure that you have multiple exit strategies because you don't know again is that pivot, the change. How do you need to like adjust to it so you're not stuck with something that long term that may not be worth it right now.
I have one more question before I let Lavita jump in. For people out there that want to get into real estate, um, and right now I'm just talking about the investment side, and just
Mhm.
say they don't have a lot of financial resources. What can they do to get into the investing side?
So I absolutely big on, wholesaling is a technique, right? It is a technique that you can do with very little money. You can get this started with less than $500, right? You can do, it's not going to be easy, right? I always say that, like, it's not easy at all because you do have to do the work, right? It is a sales type of job, right? You have to find the people that are motivated. You have to find the buyers that are buying from you. So wholesaling is always a great way because it helps you analyze the properties, the markets, what can you potentially do. Then also the other part of it is like other people's money, right? So you never know who's around you. They may be able to help you, right? So there's people that have 401ks. There, you might have a 401k, right? You might have equity on a property, or your mom, your sister, somebody, like that can go into business with you and can help you lend that money to make that happen. There's other systems and other programs like hard money lenders that also lend to investors that are sort of starting, that don't have tons of capital, and you can work with them alongside to see what's available to you. So there are different opportunities in different ways. You just have to really like think about it, be strategic and see what you like and what you don't like.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I would like to ask you, a lot of these properties that you're buying, I'm sure you haven't seen the inside of them. Is it safe to go on pictures?
So I'm big on, we do walkthroughs virtually, right? So sometimes
Mhm.
I'm in Connecticut physically. We have purchased properties in Ohio and Pennsylvania and California. I don't fly out or drive there to go see any of the properties. We do go bear pictures, but I actually hire someone to go take the pictures, like not just from the seller themselves, because the seller can tell me that the property is okay and might only need like
Exactly.
a few $1,000s in repairs. But
Yeah.
when they go there, it's like half of the things are falling apart. So it's just like, I don't know. So I do hire someone to go to the property. It's easy. Like I use Craigslist, sometimes Facebook, just put an ad out and offer typically $50 per property, to get pictures of me. They send me the pictures, they put them in a Google Drive document, and I have all the photos there, and they'll do a walkthrough with a video as well. So that, helps me just put my mind at ease and know more about what that property looks like.
Okay. And some of those properties that you probably buy, they probably are in bad shape.
Hmm.
So how do you approach like the owners when you get that picture and you be like, well, that property's pretty bad. I mean,
It's all about your negotiation skills, right? And
okay.
just really being able to, like, really, I mean, I don't sugarcoat things. I'm very transparent about, like, hey, this property is gonna cost me like X amount of dollars to bring it up
Hmm.
to date. So you either have the choice to like help me here and we both like get into this deal together and you get some money in your pocket, or if you want to turn around and flip it yourself, that's fine, but it's gonna cost you about X amount of dollars or more. So most people don't want to do the work, or they don't want to hire someone, or they don't want to they don't have the funds to do it right then and there. So I present them with different opportunities, right? I'm not here to do shady business, like I'm not here to try to get you like to sell the property for me for free or anything like that. It's just I'm here as like negotiating. I'm going to show you like what I can do. This is my cards are all out, and now it's your time to decide, like, do you want to sell it? Do you want to drop the price? Because sometimes we get it under contract and the price is a little too high, right? Like it might be, I go back and I look at the pictures and I'm like, listen, you told me the property only needed about $20,000 worth of repair. My pictures here and the walkthrough shows me like 40 or $50,000. Like we have to come to a place where this is going to work, because if not, I can't do this deal.
Okay, to the homeowners that is currently in foreclosure and may need some assistance, how do they get in touch with you?
So for me, I mean, they can definitely find me. I'm on Facebook, so if you're on Facebook land, just find me at Samary. Feel free to message me here, and you can also go on my website, which is samarypolnet.com. You feel free
Hmm.
to send me a message there. There's emails. My email is hello at Samary Samary Polnet Polnett.com.
Okay, and what about people that do you work with people that still have a mortgage and they need to do a short sale or something?
We do it all. We do short sales, seller financing, right? Sometimes people have a mortgage and that's subject to, right? We even take um, on mortgages, right? So I know back in the day, it's like quick claims, right? Like people would quick claim the houses and you can take over the mortgage. We still do stuff like that. We do subject twos, which is considered basically a quick claim.
Mhm.
If they're upside down in a mortgage, we do sometimes negotiate with the banks. Sometimes that part is a little bit harder to make it, and it takes a little bit longer, but it's all a process, like, and it depends. And we have saved properties from foreclosures and pre-foreclosures before with that strategies as well.
Okay, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Is anyone you want to take questions,
Yep, I
Nadia?
have a few questions here from the audience. Lauren, Laurelyn wants to know, is it totally virtual?
Yes. So when we're doing virtual investing or wholesaling, it's all virtual. I honestly could tell you I have not stepped foot in half of these places. We have sometimes purchased and sold them right away. Some we have done work to, some we haven't done any work to, and we actually just resell them because we got them such a cheap price. So it is all virtual. I hire basically a virtual team, right? So if I'm looking for contractors, I look for contractors ahead of time in that area. I look for people who are my boots on the ground, right? That can take photos for me, whether I need to hire or sometimes if I have friends or family or somebody there, I would ask them to do it. I still compensate everyone, just because business is business, and I want to keep it that way.
Okay. Dean Paku says, what things do they need to do to get a license?
So for wholesaling purposes, you don't need a license unless you're in those states that I mentioned, like, Oklahoma, or if you're planning to do more deals in Illinois than just one, or in Philadelphia. However, you get, if you want a realtor license, you can go through the board at that state, in that particular state, and they have their requirements to, whatever it is, their hours and the test that is required to get your actual realtor license.
Are you able to hold their license
No,
once they get
I'm
licensed?
not a broker. I am a realtor, but not for the wholesaling purposes. I became a realtor because we also flip. So because we wanted to flip, I wanted to be able to list our properties.
Gotcha. Osrin says, how did you get the idea for this business?
I didn't invent it. It's been a while for a long time. It was just something I kind of, my husband stumbled upon when he was looking for other ways to grow his real estate business, and he shared it with me. I never heard of it before, right? When I think of real estate investors, I think of landlords, flippers, and realtors, right? Like when you're in the
Right.
business of real estate. So
Yeah.
I never ever heard of other creative ways of doing it, and until he brought it to me, then I started. If anybody wants to ever Google or research real estate wholesaling, there's tons of information out there, lots of people, YouTube channels, Facebook groups. I mean, there's Bigger Pockets is a great tool as well. So there's lots and lots of information and people willing to share that.
How profitable is wholesaling compared to, having doing it with the license and doing it without the license?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So with wholesaling, you really can write your own checkbook, right? As long as you can get that property low enough and you can resell it. Basically, you're not reselling, you're reassigning the contract to your end buyer. What you get in between that can be anything, right? So sometimes you can get a property on the contract, for $5,000, and you reassign that contract for $35,000. You just made $30,000 in between
Gotcha.
that. So when it comes to a realtor license, you do have to go by the board and what the percentages that you cannot charge anyone. They go by certain percentages. I know, like in Connecticut, often it's like 6% on a listing, 3% or 3.5% for the listing agent, 2.5% for the buyer's agent. So you're capped at that number. You can't just say like, hey, I want to make $30,000 from that
Yeah.
property. Like, it just doesn't happen that way.
And do you hire wholesalers or people that want to wholesale?
We work together. I have a lot of different partners in different states. I have people who bring me properties and I help them, like do the deal, and we split profits. So I'm always open to work with others.
Connie wants to know, did you find any difficulties in switching your career?
So honestly, at the beginning, it was I had no intentions of fully leaving my psychotherapy world. What happened was, I really just was driven by like helping my husband, right? I wanted him to grow his business, like wanted to establish this. But for me, it kind of just took over, right? So I was able to really transfer my skills, and I gave myself timelines. So I had not gone back to work since I had the twins. I then went back and I started the wholesaling, doing all of this, but then I took on some clients, one on one for my therapy practice. However, after a year and a half, the pandemic hit, and I was like kind of burned out from the therapy world, and I was like, I really feel it in my heart that I need to, like, I'm super spiritual, and I'm like, God is telling me that I need to be doing this. Like,
Right.
so I was really pulled into it, and I'm like, I gave myself a timeline. I prayed about it. I was like, listen, by November of that year, I want to make sure that I'm fully into the business, right? Into this business. And I closed all my clients, I made referrals, and it made it happen. I replaced my income and more within those 6 months of time. And I knew that this was what was meant for me.
Okay.
I have a question for you. How do you see the markets in the next 3 months? I'm not saying that you have a crystal ball, but
I think there's going to be a lot of shifts, honestly. I think there's going to be, unfortunately, even more foreclosures and pre foreclosures on that end. A lot of people are still recovering from the COVID time and like just making that happen. And unfortunately, like they're not able to catch up with what's needed. So, that's definitely going to be hitting the market. The interest rates I always tell everyone, like, we don't know anything much about the interest rates, but you're never married to an interest rate. So if you're using a traditional way to purchase, don't get scared by that. You can always refinance your property. That's nothing, like, it's a temporary like number.
okay.
Okay. I think we got time. It's a lot of questions. I'll just take a couple more. Let's see. Todd Garrett said, "Is there a good time or a bad time to invest in this market?"
It's always a good time to invest in real estate.
Always,
I'm
right?
like, always. There's always deals. There's always opportunities. You just have to find them, right? You have to find them. You have to look for them. You have to, again, do your numbers, see what's going to do, find your exit strategies. Always, always, always.
Millie Brown says, "How do your clients find you?"
So we find them. No.
Okay.
So no,
All right.
we no, honestly. So we usually have different marketing techniques. So we do cold calling or texting, to help them, to go through these sellers that made me motivated, right? We recently started doing more ads on social media that has brought on clients now, but I feel like it's not as productive, and it doesn't move as quickly as doing the actual texting and the call calling and all of that.
One more. I think I have time for one more. Okay. Do you need a specific background to work in real estate?
No, you want to. I mean, honestly, there's so much information out there. I think as long as you want it, it's like anything in this world, right? If it's a business, so I just want everyone to know, like, if you treat real estate as a business, and run it like a business, it's going to be profitable and it's going to help you, like build it out. But if you use it as a side hustle or something else, that's the return you're going to get, right? So you just have to be realistic about your goals about it and what you're willing to do, because it's not easy. They make it easy look on TV, right? Like, oh yes, I just sold like a $5 million house, but
Yes, yes, yes.
it's not that easy at all. So just know that you got to be ready to work. You got to be. It's a 24, almost a 24/7 type of jobs, like all the time, because you're going, going, going. You're answering calls, text message, emails, like ongoing on the weekends. You're working. So you learn how to set boundaries as time goes on, but it's more of like you got to know at the beginning it's going to be a grind.
In closing, let's talk about your website and what services you
Yeah.
offer and trainings for people who are interested in getting into real estate.
Yes, absolutely. So, my company, I offer coaching as well, because this is such a great market and such a great business to get into, and I get very excited teaching. So, I do provide one-on-one coaching. I also provide group coaching. We have free support groups called the Hive. So, if you go in Facebook and look for the Hive, REI, it is a group that where we are often sharing lots of resources, everything for free. We meet once a month virtually, and we bring on different topics, different speakers. So definitely check us out at the Hive. Um, And yes, that's about it. Bring us
All
come,
right.
if you want to work in any way possible with me or my team, let me know. Don't hesitate to reach out. Again, we're always open.
All of Samary's links are at the bottom. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today. We
you.
learned a lot in a short amount of time. To our audience, thank you. I am so sorry I couldn't get to all of the comments, but Samary, you're welcome to go in the comments and answer some of the questions.
I will.
Um, and thank you all for joining us on She's Successful. And until next time, guys, we'll see you.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you.
Bye bye.